So we definitely have to. Oh, no, no, no. We've got something to do. Pilgrim Seed. For her survival. So, Pilgrim Seed support. Even Soul's own ship requires help, but figuring out what jobs need doing first and who to help is a challenge. Okay. Pilgrim Seed supply. Food is an issue on the Pilgrim Seed. Even with agriculture on board, a supply of Matsutake will help fill the gap. Okay, her survival is already looking good. Step of Song and Earth. Stability in the flotilla means relieving the pressure on the refugees from all 3 moons of Ember. I should do this. Oh, I thought this would go up. Dun, 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 dun. Ember Step Refugee Aki. It's a strange sight, given your time spent in the Greenway, to see a greenhouse choked in red dust. It piles up along edges, gathers in curving waves, and is carried by some unseen wind to whirl in front of the glass ceiling. It is a desert in miniature. A captured landscape of iron-rich sediment and unseen life. Beautiful, isn't it? The remark comes from another figure standing at the viewing window, so quietly that you hadn't noticed them. Did they just arrive, or were they here before you were? Their cloth-swaddled form reveals little. Stay silent. You catch a glimpse of a pale face among the thick material, dark eyes glittering in the red reflected light. Jeez, that key's looking kinda nice. Guardian Ep Step Refugee. They turn to you as the dust swirls. Aki, they smile, a tight smile. You are not from the flotilla, am I right? I live on the eye. But that is not where you are from. She stares into the greenhouse. Everyone is from somewhere, whether they wish to be or not. The red dust glitters in her eyes, whether it is a good place to be from or not. Aki gathers her cloak around her shoulders against the cold. What brings you to the Wind's Long Shadow? Wind's Long Shadow? The ship. Aki looks at you curiously. Do you often wander around ships you don't know the name of? You are a strange one. Aki raises an eyebrow. I don't know whether to report you or send you back where you came from. She smiles to herself, which is nowhere at all. You glance around the empty corridor, suddenly aware of how quiet it is on the ship. Unlike the other ships you have been on, the flotilla, there is a silent order to the Wind's Long Shadow, and in this moment it feels unsettling. Huh? You glance around the empty corridor, suddenly aware of how quiet it is on the ship. Unlike the other ships you have been on, the flotilla, there is a silent order, okay. Where is everyone? What happened here? Aki squints. That is a broad question, and I am not in the mood to recount the history of this ship or step. I'm staying silent, girl. Aki lets the silence sit, and you hear the wind and dust scratching at the viewing window. You hear a creak as a set of shutters slowly begin to close across the glass ceiling of the greenhouse. As you watch, you feel the dissonance this place has with that word. There is nothing green here. A dust house, perhaps. It takes many systems to preserve this landscape, Aki begins. To simulate the wind, cycle the dust, layer the sand and dirt beneath. You watch the dust swirling, systems that are failing. The flux event, Aki glances at you for a sign of recognition at this term, is eroding our ability to keep this place alive, to keep these traces of step alive. She smiles to herself, which is ironic because when we left step, the flux had eroded our ability to survive on the moon. Now the situation is reversed. Away from the moon, its ecosystems are as fragile as we were living upon it. Something catches your eye as the shutters darken the dust house. The winds picking away at the dunes begin to reveal something, a web of network. A network of thick branches forms, and then they close completely, and you see nothing in the dark. Soft blue lights flicker on in the corridor, uplighting Aki in cold cyan. You have piqued my curiosity. But I am so tired, Aki shivers. If you do not have purpose here on the ship, I recommend finding one. Otherwise, I'm afraid you will need to leave. Make yourself useful, and perhaps we will get another chance to talk. She turns. I would like that. With that, Aki pads away along the corridor. You stand for a moment in front of the dark dust house, trying to imagine the network of roots under the sand and dust, and then trying to imagine the moon that once housed them. Dust houses, jeez, what a name. Make yourself useful. This is going to be easy to do. Systems repair. The crew won't let you into the dust houses, but there are plenty of supporting systems that could do with some love and care. So that's one. Climbing Briar. This is two. So there's another one, right? Or another faction I'm looking for. Wait, oh, okay, here. Docking access, Ember Songs Hub. Unfinished business, unload supplies. Soul's shipment of supplies sits partially unloaded, the crew absent. If you want to help, the best way would be to finish the job. Unfinished business, the more you upload supplies into the docking bay, the more attention your efforts seem to be gaining. Alright, let's... I don't have any urgency there, which is good, because I think I got some stuff with Yannick. I think I'm gonna do 2 cycles of my own until that is ready. I guess it's 1 cycle, because this one, and then it's gonna pop up. So, what should I get? Matsutake caps. God, that's so bad. And I need to check something too. Something there. I'm in no rush there too, so I feel like I should leave that. One drive at a time, one drive at a time. But what I should do is use a dice now just to set it straight. This node flickers in and out, its positioning shifting slightly each time. You damn right! I think I can leave that now. And I want to make money. I want caps. Caps are probably more important. Need spores. Yeah, I don't mind using these. Intuity. Nice. Nice. Right. And plant these spores. Nice suit. Okay. Can I get food from here? If I make it myself. Yeah, that's worth it. Oh, I'll wait. First, let's rest. Yeah, one scrap is worth it. I didn't want to go under 3, but that's what it's there for. Start action. End cycle. The Batayan. I'm back. Start. Did I just... Nah, I thought I saw this blink. Oh man, I didn't realize this was here. Have to buy the scrap as usual. So this is just work. Offloading scrap. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I wonder if I missed this. I keep missing it. Yannick, Rabaya, what am I doing? Yes, I am doing this stuff. is my scrap looking? Yeah, let's do this. Even before you enter the office, you can hear the sound of Rabia. Is Rabia? Rabia. Working the heavy bag. She is hammering it, the chain creaking as it shakes with each hit. She's been like this since Sabine, probably. Sabine doesn't finish the sentence. They are sitting on a stool looking at the terminal in the corner, searching through the SNARP data you pulled all those cycles ago. Okay. How have you been? I'm well, Sleeper. Happy to no longer be hunted. They smile. Yatagan has plenty to deal with, and without Yannick, I'm free. They glance nervously at Rabia. Rabia stops punching, and in the silence you can hear her breathing hard. Sabine looks over at her, and you sense something between them. You realize you haven't seen them together since they tried to kill each other in this same unit. A lot has changed since then. They hooked him up like a puppet. Rabia hits the bag. Rigged that thing in his head so they could control him. Pushed the old Yannick out. I don't know why he let them in. Rabia throws a few more punches. But it's a lesson. Don't let them in. Another flurry. Yatagan shouldn't deal with corporations. And we never will again. She spits. She comes away from the bag. At least Yannick's death has been treated as natural. There's a chance we come back from this, that Yatagan can hold on. But there are opportunists trying to take control. Sabine turns to you. Yes, but now the connection has been broken. I've been looking at removing the trackers from the implants in Yatagan's enforcers. It's a significant job, but I think with time, I can do the surgeries. Rabia walks away from the bag towards the far side of the unit. Those surgeries will never happen if Yatagan collapses, she shouts back at Sabine. Clearly, this is a well-worn argument in this unit. What now for you? Sabine looks over at Rabia. I want to help fix this mess if I can. There's the implants, and I want to return to my surgery. The low end needs doctors. What I understand now is that Yatagan can be something if we want it to be. Coming here from SNR, from the core worlds, all I saw was a gang, and with Yannick keeping me on a tight leash, they shudder. Rabia believes, and I want that belief. They look unsure. I also want to be done with SNR, but I doubt they are done with me. They glance away, rubbing their shoulders. Are you and Rabia? Sabine fixes you with a look. Yes, Sleeper. Isn't that obvious? They smile. I've been wanting to say, Sabine begins nervously. I'm sorry that I didn't tell you where I came from. I know I've apologized before, but I want to again. They pause, properly. When I leaked the data on the Sleeper program, it was to try to help people like you. They grit their teeth. But after all the cycles here being pushed down, pushed around, trying to survive, all that got away from me. So when you turned up, they sigh. It shook me up. They run a hand through their hair, but I ended up here, so they look at Rabia. Oh, of course. They reach into a pocket and take out a handful of vials. These are the last of the case. Oh, these are the last of the case. You can have them. Woo! Hey, that makes my life so much easier. They drop them into your hands. I bet it's like free. How much do I have? 0. Okay. I'll take whatever I can get. After these few, I don't know what we can do. With an SNR connection broken, they look down. But I know there are other ways. Repairs, other pharmaceuticals. I even heard there are some labs out on the Greenway. Perhaps they can help. They meet your eye. I'm sorry I can't do more. Thank you for everything. They look away, their eyes bright with tears. Ravia crosses back to you both and sits beside Sabine. They look at each other, and you can't help but smile at the idea of them together. What are you two plotting? Ravia grins. Sabine or Sabine laughs, and the sound is a welcome one. You watch the two of them teasing each other and smile. Later, when you leave, you take that handful of vials out of your pocket and look at them. You can still feel that core of anger deep down inside, and you don't know if it will ever leave. But Essen Arc doesn't own you anymore. They can't, because this place, these people own you. They are what makes you get up every cycle. They are what keeps you breathing. You put the vials away and walk through the low end, your senses tuned to every sight, every smell and every sound, soaking it all in, living. Give me my points. I wanna go 1. That was a good story. Alright, well, with that place gone, study the flux. With that place gone, I think I need to take my gardening serious. Like really serious. What else can I use Griddle caps for? Let me get scrap. Let me take my scrap finding serious. Yeah, dig. She gave me 3. Yeah, nice. That's decent. Ooh, it's about to get rough. Hey, ooh, energy's going down. I think I'm gonna risk. Starving. It's gonna hurt. The scrap is gonna be a big help. What does he want me to do? Extract data. Flux data. A flickering, shifting fragment needs to be carefully decoded. I should probably rest stuff and everything before I trigger any new stuff. Okay. So first things first. Repair. Feed that cat. And eat. Twice. Actually, now rest and eat again. New day, the battalion. Okay, so now we're going over to the Briar. Where is it? Peak asked you to help them extract data from a node in the wastes, one that appeared after the recent Flux event. Peak receives the data on their slate and begins work decoding it immediately. Sleeper, come look at this. Peak is poring over one of the displays of the makeshift decoding suite they have set up in the Climbing Briar cargo's bay. On the screen, a clump of data pathways, like an ingrown root ball, has started to untangle. This is an existing node, corrupted by the Flux event. It's totally twisted up. They glance at you to check you are listening. But inside, you watch as the unwinding pathways leave behind patterns of negative spaces, like shadows staying behind despite their caster leaving. Is a whole of a data set. But inside is a whole other data set. Peak's eyes shine bright in the pale screen light. The Flux event somehow seeds this data deep into the gaps in the node, wrapping them around it. Somehow seeds this data deep into the gaps in the node. Oh, I don't get it. Peak looks crestfallen. Think of it like resin poured over an object, filling all its gaps and cracks, and then hardening into place. You watch the screen, the pattern of shadows becoming obvious now as each layer of pathways is pulled away. The Flux event itself really did a number on unprotected nodes like this one. Most of the eye's systems are screened against radiation and interference, but these exposed nodes? Peak makes a ripping motion with their hand. Torn apart. Peak points to a thick tangle of threads on the screen. Look here, it looks like it's been tangled purposely, but it's actually that all the points within the node have been randomly rearranged. It's as if the node was a bag of ball bearings and Flux shook them. The pathways tried to account for the rearrangement once the system came back on, hence the tangle. Peak pauses as the node continues to unwind. Although, Peak muses, it was less like shaking a bag of ball bearings and more like making them all simultaneously occupy a superposition of every possible position in the bag before locking them back into a new configuration. They smile sheepishly, but that's a technicality. Does any of that help us? For now, not especially. It explains the damage Flux does to systems, but the method is an exotic one. Peak runs a hand through their hair. What we need to know is what is causing it. Where is it coming from? Peak turns away from the screen, meeting your eye. And there's something else. They pause. Have you spoken with the refugees? A little. Peak lowers their voice instinctively. What they are reporting, massive system failures, cascading collapses of life support, of terraforming systems, total data corruption, Peak swallows. The Flux shouldn't do that. It can fundamentally rearrange the structure of systems, especially those poorly shielded, but totally collapsing heavy-duty industrial systems, fail-safes and all, that doesn't make sense. Those kinds of systems are built for deep space, for solar flares and radiation. The Flux might penetrate them, but any reconfiguration should have been repairable. Peak looks back at the screen, where the decoding node lies almost fully open. A shadow pattern of the negative spaces that existed within its scrambled interior darkens the screen, like a set of bruises showing the pattern of the object that made them. I need to look into something. I have an idea what might be causing this wave, triggering the Flux, but I need time to research it. What is it? Peak frowns. I don't want to say for now, not until I'm sure. If you need something to do, the flotilla could surely do with the help. From what I heard from Eshi, things are tense there. Where is Eshi? Pete glances around the bay. Must be out. I've been focusing on this, so I can't say I've noticed. Although, the quiet is nice. They smile. Give me some time, sleeper. Pete turns back to their console. I'll have some answers soon enough, I hope. You take one last glance at the uncoiling node as you leave. The dark shapes it leaves behind somehow troubling. You try to shake them from your mind. There are things to be done elsewhere. Ooh. So that's gonna be a while. Peak's progress. Peak is researching something to do with the Flux event and seems totally absorbed. They'll let you know when they are ready. So I guess I'm gonna be helping the flotilla. Let's do this. Let's sort out Soul, because that's our guy. You know, he came over first. Said his what's ups. Is that bad? That's good. This is red. Yo, I might be causing some trouble over here. Wait. Why is it red? Why is it red? Let me try this real quick. Oh man, let me do this first. Gonna do a little re-roll. Hey. You look at some of the shutter control systems fried by the Flux event. It's slow progress, but the crew will notice the fix. A little bit of money for that. Prepare myself. Inside cool. That's a good die here. Probably should just. I mean, you can only roll a 1 after. Hey. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon, girl. Let me see how this do. Alright, so I can use dice, or they're gonna get dice, to be honest. They think they're taking my Pilgrim Seed. Was it? Matsutake Caps. Oh wait, Matsutake Caps isn't that important to me. It's this Clubhead Caps that I think are stabilizer caps. You can get one more. Hey. So finds you deep in the layers of the Pilgrim Seed, working on a patch or a life support vent. You hear him coming, his suit hissing as he does. I had to ask around to find you, he smiles. Seems you know the place better than me these days. Doubt it. So nods. I was on the work crew that built this thing, so maybe you are right, he winks. So holds out a hand. Stand up and let me see you. He pulls you to your feet. I don't believe we ever had a sleeper on Ember's Earth. Ember's Earth. So looks you up and down. You sure do make me wish we had. Could have done with a few workers as good as you. Thank you. So nods. You're welcome. Seems like I owe you some answers, seeing as you've been working hard on the Pilgrim. See these far cycles. He leans against a crate, his suit creaking. What do you want to know? The flux. Cell size. That's what I imagined. He scratches at his beard. I can't say I'm an expert, but I can tell you what we witnessed on Earth. At first, we ignored it. A few farms had their automation systems blink out. Lifter suits locked up. Bots reset their schedules. Nothing we hadn't seen before. But then the news came out of Pesareu that they'd been hit harder. The local network had gone down and no one could get it back up. It was rough for a while, but out in the farmland, we were used to that. Pesareu? Capital of Earth. Tens of thousands of souls made it their home, so grimaces. Anyway, we thought the flux was a freak event until the day they got the network running again. That's when the cascade happened. System after system corrupted, data lost, and then another flux hit, and another. The bots were running circles in the fields. People had to be cut out of lifer suits like mine. Oof. And the city, I never saw it, but I heard from others. So shivers. It only got worse from there. We couldn't seem to fight it. It cut us right open. That's what I know about the flux. Some folks say it came from the inner system, that it might be connected to some old tech there or something, but I never heard anything more than rumors. So scratches their beard. Sorry, I don't have better news. So shifts on the crate. Anything else you wanted to ask? There was something. So nods. What do you want to know about? I wonder if I get to do both. I'm going to say you for now. Cell squints at you. What? Squints at you. You want to know about me? I'm not sure that was part of the deal I was thinking of, Sleeper. Unless you're asking about this, he raps on the metal of his suit. In case you haven't guessed, this is the only thing keeping me vertical. He adjusts his shoulder piece. It's a lifer suit, made for working in the fields. We had to modify it so I could walk around after the accident. And that's all I'm saying, Sleeper, because to be honest with you, I don't owe you more than that. You want to know about the flux, about Ember's Earth? Go ahead, but don't pry into my life, and I won't pry into yours. So lets the silence sit, staring hard at the floor. The seat seems to loom over him, looking more like a burden than a support. With the bars around his head, you suddenly start to think of it as a cage. Look, I don't mean to be rude. Let's leave it there. There's too many eyes on me on this ship as it is, and I'd rather just slip into the background. Thank you very much. Cell shifts on the crate. Anything else you wanted to ask? There was something. You. Cell nods. What do you want to know about? Ember's Earth. Sure, he smiles. I mean, I spent my whole life on that rock, so I have plenty to tell. I'll save my life story for another time. He winks. But the short of it is that Earth is the first of Ember's moons, the biggest and the most populated, which is down to the successful terraforming systems Cybele set up when Solheim owned the system. Cybele? How are relations with other moons? Sol smiles. Depends who you've been talking to. You shouldn't mistake me for a politician, Sleeper. That's for others to do. He gives you a look. But Ember Step was a test ground for terraforming tech that Hearth is built on, while Ember Song was the extraction site for the raw materials and energy needed to make it work. You can imagine that led to some tension. I see. However, Soul holds up a hand. Despite what people might say, Hearth was never fully stable. Soul shakes his head. Cyborg liked to talk it up, but after they pulled out and Solheim left, our people discovered they'd have to keep the systems running themselves or the place would soon end up as dry as Steppe. Earth was good as long as the evaporators kept running, kept filling our skies with clouds. Even after the collapse, our people kept those things going, turning that subsurface ocean into a periwinkle blue sky. So smiles. Flux ended that though, and when they failed, the rains failed, and the harvest with it. So pauses. And soon you have a city without a way to feed itself. So shudders. That's when we, some of us, made the decision to set out on this place. He gestures at the pilgrim seed and look for another future. So shifts on the crate. Anything else you wanted to ask? I'm good for now. Wait, what if I click that again? Soul nods. What do you want to know? Something buzzes on Soul's suit. He glances at it and frowns. Looks like time's up, sleeper. Soul stands, flexing against the suit. He takes his cane in his hand. Keep it up, sleeper. He smiles and he leaves. You're making me think I need to start making new plans for this place. With that, Soul leaves, and you wonder what he means. As he creaks away down the corridor, you can't help but feel there's more to him than it seems. Okay. So these factions are like, I'm more important than you, kind of thing. But he seems level-headed, I guess. I see you've been contributing. Aki stands next to you at the dust house window. I was unsure what to expect when we joined the flotilla on its voyage to the Eye, but after the journey across the system, then the quarantine, and then the flux reaching all the way out here too, Aki stops herself. Thank you, she bows a little. The other ships have been interested in sending us supplies, but we grow all we need. She gestures at the dust house. What the dust houses need, that is the problem that concerns us. What the dust houses need. She smiles and turns to you. Shall we go inside? Into the dust house? Where else? She taps away at a panel by the window. Seems only fair that after your help with the support systems, you get to see what it is that you are maintaining. Aki leads you to an opening beside the window. You pass through a dark changing room. You notice Aki is sliding on an oxygen mask and visor. She looks at the swirling dust inside. Inside, it's just like Ember Step. Thin atmosphere. Constant dust storms. Nothing that will bother you. She passes you a mask. The dust isn't exactly pleasant to inhale, however, so take this. You hold it to your face. She leads you through a short decontamination tunnel with its fizzing panels and purifying light, and then through into the dust house. Immediately the wind and the heat hits you. You feel the rough waves of dust scattering across your face and peer through the amber murk. Your feet slide on shifting piles of sand. Welcome to Steppe, or an emulation of it at least. Aki's voice sounds distant, echoey. The terraforming process only managed to provide a limited atmosphere around the moon, one which is slowly escaping.
Huh?
Okay. It's been like that since I was born, so I got used to the idea. You catch her bright eyes through the amber dust. So did everything else that lives here, or lives there. You feel something hard beneath your feet, beneath the sand, like a coil of rope. What is under the sand? This is steppe silk. It's one of the plants we established on steppe. She kicks away some red sand. Like any bast fiber, it can be retted and woven into clothes. I'm wearing some made from it myself. I see. It's one of the many species adapted to steppe since the Solheim collapse, which is why it must be preserved. She stares out into the swirling dust. It is as much a refuge as we are, and the dust houses hold hundreds of other species. You look at the pale, unassuming root, threaded quickly through the sand. Aki watches you silently. Had enough? It will be easier to speak outside. Aki leads you back out through the decontamination tunnel, which blasts the dust from both of you with a burst of metallic tasting air, and into the changing room. Aki hangs up both the masks patiently, awaiting your questions. Okay. Why bring plants with you? No. What happened on Ember's steppe? Okay. Aki pauses, pulling her shawl around her. She looks small and pale inside its layers. Steppe was already a doomed world, she sniffs. When Solheim gave the terraforming contract to Cybele, they believed they could build an atmosphere, but the moon's erratic orbit made it impossible to maintain. By the time of the Solheim collapse, the atmosphere was already fading, and Cybele's attention was on Ember's hearth. After the collapse, Cybele fell too, its researchers scattered across the moons, and any central organization lost. Since then, my parents' generation worked tirelessly to survive, to adapt what we had to the failing moon. The steppe silk, the other adapted species, are the life's work of the steppe's colonies. So when the flux started to collapse our computer systems, corrode and destroy our life support, our water supply, our agriculture, we had to leave. Aki sits heavily on a nearby bench. Soon the only traces of steppe will be on this ship. Aki begins to cry quietly. You are unsure what to do. Sit beside her. You sit on the bench beside her as she sobs. You understand why this ship, why the refugees from steppe are so different. Their world was already dying when the flux arrived. Ember steppe is a terraformed moon, a partial atmosphere, established colonies, agriculture, and yet when the flux event started, its people had to leave. You think of the eye and the delicate web of decaying systems it rests upon. What hope does a ruined station have against a wave that corrupts, corrodes, and collapses? Aki interrupts your thoughts, rubbing her eyes. Not everyone left. There wasn't room to take all the people and fill the dust houses. My parents, their friends, and many others stayed, she sniffs. We carry the steppe for them. Hey, you left people? Perhaps there is hope. Perhaps there is hope. We learned not to talk of hope on a dying world. There is meaning for them, and any future they can build with the time they have, she stands up. I wanted you to understand the importance of these dust houses, of what they contain. She leads you back out into the corridor. If the flux event continues to reach out to the eye, we need to build protections to ensure their safety. Aki meets your eye. What about the people? Aki looks away. We aren't idiots, Sleeper. We choose to carry this burden. We will survive. These dust houses are already decaying. I have seen it. She stares into the dust. We had thought that they would last longer, but that last flux event. Help us, Aki looks at you. Please. I will. When you are ready, we will begin the preparations for reinforcing the dust houses. We need to be ready for the next flux wave. Aki's eyes shine with the last of her tears. She takes a breath. I will see you soon. Aki drifts away down the corridor, leaving you alone once more at the viewing window. watching the ragged, delicate traces of the moon known as Ember Step. Oh. Alright, that's the next thing we're gonna do, of course.